So after going on a Greek bareboat charter in middle to late May, I want to share with you some of the behind the scenes footage and lessons we learned. And I'll start by just going over the preparation that we conducted to go on this charter and some things I wish we would have done differently, but also the things that worked out well for us. And then in addition, I think I've got a lot of interesting raw footage of the experience. You can get a feel for what it's like to be on a charter like that. And then lastly, we'll share some spectacular photographs, partially to provide inspiration, but also information. You can kind of decide whether or not a Greek bareboat charter fits your idea of a decent travel experience. So let's begin. So the bareboat company we chose was Istion Yachting. I wanted something that was easy to access in the downtown Athens marina. Istion had a large footprint there. The prices I saw on this firm's website, which seemed intuitive to me, also looked pretty attractive. So we reached out to Istion, and this was in October of 2025. And we asked them, we did basic inquiries and made sure that we were qualified. I have an ASA, American Sailing Association 104 certification, which translates into an international proficiency certificate. And in many European countries, an international proficiency certificate is what they look for. It was only 2 weeks prior before I realized that that international proficiency certificate that I had was expired. I got it in 2019. It had a 5-year expiration date, and it had expired, unfortunately. So I had reached out to the American Sailing Association, and it was on their website. It clearly stated it would take them 8 days to process the renewal application and then send out the license through the mail. So I actually escalated their support, and they were extremely helpful in getting me that certificate, at least in time for my departure date. So that worked out really well. For our travel date, we were looking for sometime in May, like mid to late May. And we quickly realized that the Memorial Day weekend in the US really drove airline prices up. So rather than, overpay for a plane ticket, we chose to leave in the middle of May and take the bareboat charter on the week of May 16th, 2026 through May 23rd, 2026. That date range was on the shoulders of the main peak season for bareboat charting in Greece. So we're just ahead of it, and there's a couple advantages to that. One, you get a less expensive price for the same boat that you would get in peak season. So you have pre-season pricing for those boats, which was very advantageous. And two, there's just less people. There's less tourists and less boat traffic out there that you're contending with in these Greek islands. So a couple advantages to going in mid-May. Upon booking and signing the appropriate documents to reserve our charter, the company Istion did send us a lot of information pertaining to when we should be providing payments. They had 3 payments scheduled, and when we should be providing the entire crew list to include passport numbers and birthdays. So there was a schedule to provide all this information. And I'll tell you, in hindsight, I should have probably immediately put those dates into my phone so that I would get reminders going into it, because I would say that Istion was not great at providing those reminder emails ahead of those important dates relative to my particular situation. But the good news was they were very accommodative. So if I did miss a date, or I was slightly delayed in providing a payment, which happened on the second payment, or delayed in providing the appropriate information at the right time, they were, hey, we need this information to make sure you have a good experience. Once we booked the vacation, I found these resources really helpful and informative to determine where we would want to sail during our particular charter in Greece. The first was the Greek Waters Pilot, written by Rod Heikell, which gave us great insights on all the different anchorages, as well as some basic information on sailing. The second was a website called sailingissues.com, very up-to-date information on anchorages and ports that we could potentially visit. And the last was CTV World, which is a website providing a lot of in-depth coverage of the different Greek anchorages and ports. And in addition, they have a lot of YouTube videos. So there is a YouTube channel also relative to the CTV, and those videos were extremely helpful in getting insights on potential anchorages that we would visit with very up-to-date information. So I'm here at the mouth of the Alamos Marina here in Athens, Greece.
Ruby, she was made for going west, did not protest my wandering ways. Ruby, she was pretty as they come, 28 years young and unafraid. She gave me shelter on the coldest night, shaded me on summer days. And I had never known my place before, but that's what Ruby soon became. Ruby, she wasn't good at going fast, and the patience that I lacked, I learned to grow. 'Cause Ruby had a way of breaking down, leaving me out there on the road. But she gave me shelter on the coldest nights, shaded me on summer days.
So we're on our first leg here on the Greek bareboat charter. We're on a Bavaria 46. And we decided to head straight to Hydra because the wind, was forecast at a solid 15, and indeed out here it was up to 20, steady for a while. So 15 to 25 is kind of more like it. And we are in the process of getting the Hydra. It's probably gonna take us at least 4 hours, maybe 5. Anybody like delivering a boat or on a new boat, there's always unanticipated things happening. Right now we have a alarm going off that we don't know how to turn off. So that's a little, what are you gonna do? And we got reefs in place on this loop, but everything is, we're happy. And we're out here sailing in the Saronic Gulf, so can't get better than that. Okay, so we did figure out what that alarm was. The VHF radio had some sort of alarm. I bet it was like a proximity alarm related to the EIS. Anyway, that mystery solved, and we are now enjoying the sounds of water lapping along as we make our way to Hydra. Okay, we are getting closer to Hydra. We've got a buddy boat with us here, also heading to Hydra, it looks like. Okay, I've got Hydra behind me, and we are closing in on Mandraki, I think is the anchorage that we're going to, which is right next to Hydra proper. It's the town that has amenities, restaurants, and all that good stuff. Alright, so I'm anchored here in this anchorage I wanted to go into. We anchored in a little bit deeper water than I wanted to, but we are, we got enough scope out to last the night. It should be a light wind night as well. You never know though. But I am in one of these situations where this boat behind me is, it's one of those unfortunate situations where you're worried that they don't know what they're doing. They seem to be reversing and trying to anchor very quickly, like reversing hot to anchor, and in short, they've been dragging their anchor. So we've had a couple episodes where they've like probably 8 episodes where they've reset and tried again. So now we'll see whether or not this last time I'm a little more optimistic. So I'm up here with Corey, and this is day 2 of Hydra. This is our first destination out of Athens, and we're going to spend the day here. We're going to pick up a water taxi. It'll be a first water taxi experience in Greece. So from what we understand, water taxis are readily available throughout these islands here in the Saronic Gulf. So we'll be taking advantage of those and exploring the area. Good. The port of Hydra. So no cars operate on the island of Hydra, and we've gone past a few donkeys, which are the main mode of carrying supplies on the island. So we're eating some pizza in Greece. Kristen, how's pizza?
It's fantastic. It's a nice respite from our octopus and our, what else have we been eating? Kebabs.
What do you think, Corey?
That's right.
There's a mid-mooring going on over here. We got a pretty busy anchorage right now. Everybody coming in for the evening. And everyone vying for spots. Some of us have been here for a while. Some are trying to find their way. This gentleman here, dropping anchor. So we're getting close to sunrise, and I just want to share my morning. Okay, I'm up on the bow. It is a light wind day. I think right now the wind here is around 3 knots, so we're motor sailing with just a sliver of a jib because if we put any more than that, it's going to start flapping due to the lack of wind. And we're heading to Ermioni right now, which is directly behind me. We're heading straight for it, so this is how it looks from about 10 miles out. So Kristen, what are your observations about the conditions?
So I know you're always asking about the wind and the waves, but I'm just going to call it peaceful today. And I think we all needed, after a few days out here, we just needed a reset. And it's beautiful, and it's just a nice, slow ride in, and we got to see dolphins.
That's Dokos.
Dokos is back there.
Yeah.
You remember where we're heading?
Ermioni.
Ermioni, yeah, I think so.
Ermioni, which should be straight ahead.
Okay, this is our new anchorage at Ermioni, I believe it's called. And we are on a spot next to this little peninsula or headland. So we have gotten the outboard on here and gotten the oars on here, and we kind of like exerted ourselves, but Corey's kind of like a little winded. He's not ready to get out yet. But we're all pretty stoked to take the dinghy in to Ermioni here relatively soon. All right, we have successfully gotten the dinghy running. right. That's west of Ermioni. Here is Ermioni proper. And there is a monastery up here. And there's a monastery right up this road, which is the beacon that drew us to this hilltop. Okay, we couldn't restart our outboard engine from the quay, so we are now rowing this thingy back to the boat. And I did a little bit of the work, and now Corey's finishing off the job. We're just about there. There's our sailboat.
Grace given, God fearing, good family. But when his hair grew long and his skin grew
Ermioni in the
soft,
morning after a night at anchor.
all they saw was all wrong. Didn't see baby. Baby. She took him walking down the streets of her hometown. And she showed him how she makes her living now. Then he made her swear she'll break out.
We had forecast today of like 7 to 10 knots. Out here it is 20 to 25 knots at this point. We went and had a reef, which is fine because the conditions were such that we're getting overpowered. And yeah, it's fun. We're sailing over ground by about 8 knots over ground according to the GPS. In this wind, we're close reaching, and you can see, hopefully you can see the camera that we're heeling pretty good. Not overly so, we're definitely in control, but it's a fun sail. So with 20 knots of wind at this point on our nose, we're going right into the wind. Those two are lashing down that dinghy because we just saw it catch some air a little earlier and we want to prevent that from happening again. So they're methodically going up there and making sure that this thing is lashed down properly. Got that dinghy sorted out. It's looking very stable over there. There's the crew, the very capable crew that took care of that. You can see I got my jacket on because this wind going straight into it, and yeah, it's a little chilly. But overall, we're still happy. It's mid to late May in Greece, and we're enjoying our charter. So we are now facing Poros proper in Greece, which is definitely one of the big items on our itinerary to take a look at. Let me show you what is behind me here. It is a very well-marked channel, and there are so many sailboats and fishing boats in here. was that beauty?
Tricks on tired eyes. I swear that I see you riding shotgun late at night. Seems that you're the only thing that never leaves my mind. The only thing worth getting right. So am I too far gone? 'Cause I'm running home. If only in my mind I am somewhere across that.
All right, Turkish Navy just played what might have been taps, but the sun's not down yet. And we are about to have a magnificent meal cooked on the boat. Bon appetit. So we're leaving Poros as a reveille sounded at the Navy base in Navy Bay here. And the crew is happy and ready to go to the next leg of Aegina.
I packed a photo of us from our very first date.
Hey Kirsten,
Hey, Eric.
how did you enjoy Poros?
Oh, I think it was my favorite stop. And I'll say why. Not because it was the best harbor or the best town or the best views, but I think it was the best mix of everything. And so it just was like the full package.
Yeah. All right, Corey?
I loved it. I really enjoyed the scenery of it. You have a nice island with some city and some beautiful buildings, and then you have the backdrop of these hills and mountains behind it. And it was very relaxing.
This is the island of Aegina.
Into the ashes you carved out a heart with our name. I can still picture your smile through the mask on your face. And we keep dancing through silent sound. They drown the crying out, but there's nothing to cry about.
All right, we're walking up this grade
There's no
for the purpose of seeing these pretty astounding ruins. I think the ruins actually, why they're noteworthy is because they're so well preserved, or there's such a substantive amount left given the day that we live now. So I'm excited to see them. It's definitely there's tour boats that come out here from Athens specifically to bring tourists up to this spot. So here we are. We got to sail to it, motor sail, and we get to experience it firsthand. All right, we're just about there. This was about, I don't know, a 20-minute climb up meandering paths and up a road. All right, we are on a beautiful overlook. That's Athens behind me, and the temple of Aphaea behind me now. We're up on top of a hill on the island of Aegina, and boy, this is worth the walk. It was like a 25-minute walk from our anchorage, and the anchorage itself is pretty nice as well. So we're just enjoying a beautiful day in May on a Greek bareboat charter adventure. So that's Athens in the distance. We're all heading back to the bar, and this is the last day of our Greek bareboat sailboat charter. So we're all heading back. It's been a beautiful week, and we've never been rained on. We've had pleasant experiences, some higher wind, some motor sailing. Everything's been really great. The food's been great. The destinations have been great. We'll be sharing a lot of this